Guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to talk about Fraser Valley presale condos, where we're coming from, where are we going, and what's happening right now, and what 2025 holds for Fraser Valley condos in the presale market, and more specifically, the Surrey Central market. Over the last 3 years, I made two predictions about the Fraser Valley condos, and more specifically, Surrey Central condos, and they were both correct. And they both have played out, and they're currently being played out. And I want you to watch the videos because they're timestamped. You can go on my Instagram channel to listen to these videos, and I'll put them on the screen here too for you to listen first. I want you to take in what I was saying back in 2022 and 23 and what was happening, what played out, and what I feel is going to happen over the next 12 months in the Fraser Valley, more specifically the Surrey Central condo market, if you're thinking about getting into any pre-construction properties in the Fraser Valley. Before we watch the videos, if you don't know who I am, my name is Uzair Muhammad. I specialize in new construction properties all across the Fraser Valley, and we work with investors, first-time buyers, and this is what we do day in, day out. We don't do the odd pre-sale deal. This is what we do. So let's watch the videos. This is the first video. Check it out.
Majority of the people buying pre-sales in Surrey Central right now are going to break even in 2027. Worst case, lose money on these projects. And the reason why I can say this with so much conviction is because they're missing the basic analysis. What's the benchmark price of a pre-construction project? Surrey Central right now is about $1,000 square feet to $1,050, depending on the developer, depending on the project, the location. But there are projects that are selling at $1,150 a square feet, $1,200 a square feet. But they're marketing so heavily that people are buying into these projects. When you know the price of something in today's market is $1,000 square feet, but you're paying $1,200 square feet, which is the future value of this product, how do you expect to make money in this process? You won't make money in this process.
So essentially in this video, I was telling everybody, I said, guys, listen, if you're going to buy a condo, a presale condo in Surrey, you have to watch the price point. And I say this all the time. Everybody talks about location, location, location. I always say when it comes to presales, it's price, price, price. That's it. Nothing else matters. Everything else comes after. You have to figure out the price point first, then location, then developer, and then you can look at the floor plans. If you are an investor in presale condos, that is the essential rule of investing in presales. You have to figure out the price first. But in this video, I was telling everybody, I was saying, you cannot pay $1,200 a square foot in Surrey and make money. Because essentially at that time, the dollar per square foot cost across the board for concrete, for finished product, maybe less than 1 year old, was $1,000 a square foot, $1,050 just depending on the area and the product and the levels, of course. And everybody was paying $1,150, $1,200 a square foot in a pre-construction product, and that was not as good quality of the ones that we were talking about. And I was like, you cannot pay that price and expect to close on these properties and make any money. The whole point of you putting money into pre-construction properties is that you make money during the construction phase. But if you're already going to pay a premium from its current benchmark price or the current resale price, you're already paying the future value. So how are you going to make money? So that was essentially what this video was about. And that is what's happening right now in the market. There are people that cannot close on their purchase price units. There are people that bought these presale units at $1,150, $1,200 a square foot, and now they're completing this year, or they're completing, they already completed end of 2024, or as we make this video, and the units are not appraising. The bank is saying you bought it at $1,150 a square foot. Right now, it's being appraised at $1,100 a square foot. That difference in price, if it's $20,000, you have to come out with that price difference in your closing cost on top of your down payment. So if you are putting 20% down and the difference in your purchase price and appraised price is $20,000, you have to come up with additional $20,000. That's what's happening right now. There's a lot of investors that are learning the lesson the hard way. We bought presale condos in 2021, 22, but when the price point hit anything over $1,050 a square foot, we stopped buying. We just said, no, that's too much of a premium, because at that time we were looking at a saying, okay, we're already paying 5% premium based on the current resale market. We're not going to do any more premium. We stopped buying. And all of those units that are completing right now for our clients are totally fine because they were purchased at the right price point, right? So that was the part one of what was going to happen in Surrey Central, and that's what's playing out right now. And it's going to continue to play out up until 26, 27 for all the people that do not understand how to pay a fair market value of a presale condo. That's the first part. And then I made my second prediction on Fraser Valley condos, more specifically Surrey Central condos, and that also played out to the T in 2024. And I think that one is pretty much done. And I'm going to play that video for you as well, just so you guys have it to reference. So that video, let me play it.
Biggest opportunity to invest in Surrey Central condos is coming in 2024. I'm not talking about a presale project. I am talking about assignments that are going to hit the market next year. Units people bought in 2019 to 2021 with no plans to close on them. They bought them to flip In this market, you can't just flip a presale. So they only have two options: forfeit the deposit and give the unit back to the developer in hopes that the developer doesn't sue them. Two, assign the unit. Brand new, going to close in the next 6 to 9 months in 2024.
So the second video, I'm talking about the opportunity that was coming in 2024. I made that video last year around this time. I think it was around October or November time of 2023. So when I made that video, I knew the buildings that were coming to complete. These buildings were sold early 2021. So when they were sold at $800 a square foot, $850 a square foot. And then the market just took off and then it went to $1,100, $1,150 a square foot based on the comparables in the area. Now, all these investors couldn't close on all these units. So what is going to happen is when they complete in 2024, not everyone is going to be able to close on these units because of high interest rate, financing issues, people bought them to flip, and now they're like, okay, I'm just walking away from deposit, I'd rather just sell it. Because they were purchased at $800 or $850 a square foot, they could sell it at $900 a square foot, cover their selling costs, and still walk away with their deposit and then some. So for the purchaser, that was enough margin to say, okay, there's enough meat on the bone. There's $50,000 on this unit. I can take it and run. We picked up assignments. Our clients picked up units for 1-bedroom condo, parking, storage locker, 500 square feet for $410,000, $415,000, and $421,000. These were the three price points that we were paying. Around there, we had like 6 or 7 units that we picked up in Surrey Central. And then, of course, plus GST and the closing cost. That also allowed the selling investor, so the seller, walk away with $10,000 to $15,000 profits in a market that just tanked. And our investors picked up these units. Now these units are in the high 400s because there's no more comparables coming at that price point. So these were picked up way earlier and then sold in a market that was just tanking. So our investors took advantage and picked up these units. Now, if you look at Surrey Central, you cannot find me a unit at $400,000, brand new finished product, because that price point is now done. Reason why? Because all these 7, 8, 10 buildings that were coming up to completion are pretty much done. They're all completed, all closed on. People that were in pain, they either closed on them, now renting them out, or they assigned them. The investors that picked up the opportunity, they got good deals. They're holding on to these units. Like our investor clients, we're holding these units for the next 5, 6 years, and they're going to make the money. Even with closing costs 20% in, they're all carrying their mortgage and expense. So the rent right now, 1-bedroom condo, $2,100 is what most of our clients have rented out for, including their strata fees, everything, they're carrying their cost. So there's nothing going out of our clients' pocket because their purchase price is so low. Now, what's going to happen over the next 6 to 12 months? Every single presale project that completes right now that was picked up at $1,100 a square foot is not going to appraise. Number two is there's no buyer for these assignments. If you bought a brand new unit at $1,100 a square foot, for you to sell, you need to sell it for at least $1,150 a square foot to even break even. Just get your money out, because now you not only do you have your selling cost, you have your assignment fees and all of those things. So when you take that into consideration, you need to sell it for $1,150 a square foot. No one's buying it at $1,150 a square foot. The buyer wants $1,000 a square foot. How are you going to sell it for $1,150 a square foot? So now you're taking $100 a square foot loss. No one's buying it at $1,150 a square foot. The buyer wants $1,000 a square foot. How are you going to sell it for $1,150 a square foot? So now you're taking $100 a square foot loss on these assignments if you were to walk away, on top of losing your deposit. So that's what's going to play out parts of 2025. Because there's still 4 to 5 buildings that are going to complete in 2025. And these are all concrete high-rise buildings. And these are the buildings that ruined the reputation in the market for Surrey Central. You know why that is? Because all these buildings were sold on radio stations, on hyped build around the UBC coming to Surrey Central, or UBC acquiring land in Surrey Central. I was in the market with our investors during the sales of these buildings. We did not buy these units. We did not buy into these buildings for that simple reason. And what's going to happen now is, because the local investor, and this is where it turns on what it's going to do in 2025 for the future projects that are coming to Surrey Central. So what happened over the last 3 years has taught a lesson to the local investors of Fraser Valley. Said there's no money to be made in Fraser Valley because most of the investors didn't really do their homework on their pre-sale investments. They just went with the hype, picked up units, did whatever they wanted to do. Now these units are not closing. They're not making any money. There's no liquidity for them to take the money and put it into a new project. Now what's happening is, because the local demand is basically dead, there was a project that just launched in Surrey Centre recently. It launched at $1,290 a square foot for 1-bedroom condo. I can probably quote this to you. It was 467 square feet, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom with parking. And it was starting price of high 500s. When a developer says high 500, I'm looking at 589, 579 is kind of where the price point is. Let's take 579. 579 plus 5% GST plus land transfer tax. That unit is going to cost you $610,000 to $615,000 for one bedroom condo. In a market where you can pick up a single one bedroom condo for $480,000, $490,000 concrete built finished product, you're paying $120,000 premium for these future projects that are coming. This one just launched actually. This project launched in Surrey about 2 months ago. And you know what happened? Nothing. I think they did probably 30 or 40 deals. And that too, if they don't sell a percentage of their building, they're probably going to have to cancel the project because no one's going to pick that up. So what is that going to trigger now? So what's going to happen now is, because the local investor is learning their lesson and have learned their lesson and figured out that there's no money to be made paying premiums for Surrey Central, now these projects are going to get marketed across the bridge. Because the local investor and the demand is dead, they have to find buyers that think this product is cheap. So where do they go? They go to Burnaby, Vancouver, Brentwood, Metrotown, Coquitlam, North Vancouver, West Vancouver, Vancouver itself, Richmond maybe. That is where they go, because everything around that area, let's take Burnaby for example, you're looking at for one bedroom, let's say $1,350, $1,400 square foot, $1,500 square foot for brand new concrete built in these areas. So that investor thinks, buying a one bedroom condo for $589 is a good deal in Surrey. They think there's upside to this, not knowing that there's so much inventory coming and there's so much finished product at $1,000 a square foot. Them paying $1,200 a square foot is not going to make them money. So what the developers and the local marketing teams are going to do now is they're going to target, and this is by no means against any developer or marketing team, because they all have a job to do. This is an open market. A seller can ask any price and the buyer can pay any price. It is the responsibility of the buyer and buyer's agent to do their due diligence to figure out what fair market value are they willing to pay for a specific product. Now, going back to the point of what the marketing teams and the developers, their challenge now is, how do you sell this product across the bridge? Surrey is the fastest growing city in the world, basically. Right? There's so much coming. SkyTrain is going to Langley. All that have been priced in at $1,150 a square foot, guys. Surrey's not going to $1,400 a square foot anytime soon. Maybe 2030. Maybe. So they have to now market across the bridge, use agents that are across the bridge that can sell this product for them. So if you're thinking about investing in the Surrey area, the Langley area, you have to be very cautious. I advise every single investor that comes across a bridge and say, you need to find a local agent from the Fraser Valley that understands the market and have them represent you in this purchase if you're going to make an investment in the Fraser Valley. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is the agent that you're going to hire has probably never come this side of the bridge. They're making that trip over to this side of the bridge just to help you buy a pre-sale unit. And how much homework do you think they have done? I'll give you an example. There was a project in Langley that just launched about 3 months ago. Not even 3 months, I'd say about a month and a half ago. That project launched and there wasn't a lot of demand locally. They poached out to some agents, big agents and big teams across the bridge in Burnaby and Brentwood and Coquitlam area, and they brought their investors here to buy. Now, I saw that project from day one to kind of when they sold almost one building. And I was looking at the price point. I said, okay, one bedroom condo, $500,000 is kind of what it was selling for. And I was doing deals at $450, $449, $429, $419, just about 10 minutes from that area. This project that we were working on didn't have any other marketing done. This project was silently launched, tier 1 pricing, tier 1 access. And at the same time, this project, this was hyped up, blown up, everyone knew about it, was selling the same units for $500,000, a $70,000 to $100,000 price difference in one bedroom units. But everyone that was buying thought they're getting a great deal. Maybe there's upside to it. Maybe $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 they'll make. But that's not the point of making pre-sale investments. The point is that if I put $50,000 in a pre-sale condo, I want it to go up $50,000 during this construction phase. At least over the next 2 years, you're making anywhere from 40 to 50% of return on investment. And if you put $40,000 and it makes you $40,000 over the next 2.5, 3 years, you've made almost 100% return on your investment. You can use that equity or appreciation as a part of your GST. You can get that GST converted into the mortgage. But if the unit doesn't appraise at that price point, you can't convert your GST into the mortgage. So the whole point of buying units in pre-construction condos is that you make money. So when you come across the bridge, you don't know the market. You don't know the demographic. You don't know what it's selling for. See, pre-sales are very different. You cannot just pull up a comparable for a pre-sale project or a unit. That's what agents are there for. Agents that specialize in pre-sale condos, they know these buildings, their projects from the inside out. You call me and say, Uzair, I'm thinking about buying in this project in the Fraser Valley. And on that phone call, test me. On that phone call, I can tell you what the 1-bedroom is selling for, what the 2-bedroom is selling for, what they launched at, where they're at right now, what's their financing looking like, how much deposit, how long is the completion, what's their assignment fee, and how much room do they have on their price. That is what is required of a good agent that represents you. So my biggest advice to you is going to be is if you're going to invest in the Fraser Valley, you need to hire an agent that's local from the Fraser Valley. It doesn't have to be your agent. You can use your agent and say, refer me out to somebody in the Fraser Valley. They can take a referral fee, but please have somebody who's an expert in the area, in the location, in the product that you're wanting to buy, because if you don't, you're probably going to end up paying too much money for a product that you don't know anything about, and then you're going to wonder why you never made money. So I hope this gives you clarity on where things are going. And if you have any questions about pre-sale condos in the Fraser Valley, you know who to call. My information is down in the link below. Use the link to set up an appointment. I'm happy to help answer any questions that you have. And for now, that's all I've got for you. And I will see you in the next video.